Not ready yet. Yeah, I mean, I go to the gym. Not so much anymore because that one time was there. I was shown up by some French fries or something, and yeah, they were ripped. I've never seen a serving of French fries with abs like that. I felt terrible. You know, what are you gonna do? Steve Weiner here from GetRubix.com, and today we are going to show you how you can deploy your package files from blob storage in the Start Migrate V2 script we've been working on. No, I don't even have a gym membership. Okay, so yesterday we started working on the Start Migrate PS1 script, which is the V2 version, and we got to the part where we have to unpack all of our source files, the tasks, the scripts, all that stuff. So if we take a look right here, I left it as an empty, kind of a nothing right there, right? Package files, I just left blank. What we used to do is we used to store them within the package, the Intune package, but the problem is if we have to make a change to one, which we actually are going to do as we go through this process, it becomes very difficult. You have to remake the Intune package. So what we are going to do is we're going to keep these stored up in Blob. I mean, we're connecting to Blob anyway, so we might as well do this here. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing we have to do is you have to know about blob storage. If you don't know about Azure Blob storage, I'm going to put a link to it below here. It's very easy to set up. You need some kind of Azure subscription. But then you get the Azure Storage Explorer, and these are all my blob containers. This kind of makes it easy to mess around with. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to create a container called package files. It's pretty simple, right? So what's going to go in there? Well, if we open up the V1 script or the V1 package, you'll probably remember this. These are all of our task files that we need. In addition, we'll need a migrate package as well, the PPKG. We might need some images for our toast notifications now that we have that working. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we just need every file outside of the Start Migrate in there. So I'm just going to grab the tasks and scripts here. There we go, that should do it. And I'm literally going to drag those into my blob storage. So now we have everything stored up there. What that means, if I have to make a change to a file in my package, I don't have to remake everything. I can literally come in here, okay, and open this up. And it'll actually do it'll kind of download a temporary copy, and it'll let me open that up, and I can make some changes to it if I need to. Okay, and if I did make a change, it would go ahead and copy that back up there. All right, so let's talk about how this works first. I went ahead and copied over some of the pieces we had before, right? This is where we add the storage account name and key, and I did run it with my account and key just to authenticate it. So we don't have to share that here. Then everyone's using my blob storage. You got to make your own blob storage. So the first thing we have to do is, now that we have these, is we have to get all the blobs up there. So what we can do is I'll just run the command down here, get AZ storage blob. Container is container, and the context is the context we've set. So there we go. You're going to see everything here the same way we would see it in the blob storage. So how do we then say, okay, let's go download all those? Well, this has to be stored in a variable first. So what we're going to do is we're going to say blobs equal get AZ storage blob container. Oh, tab too fast there. Container is container, and the context is the context, and that should do it. So now we have that. So if I call blobs, now here's the problem. I want to iterate through them and download each one. So if I were to say for each blob in blobs, let's just write out the blob to see what it is. Write host blob. Okay. let's go ahead. Actually, let me just comment that out so I don't have to do this every time. Okay. So see what that is? For every blob in there, it's giving me something. That's not what I want. I want the actual, I want to download the file. Because if we go to get that from blob storage, it's not going to work because it won't exist. And that's because if I scroll back up to blobs, take a look, we need the name. So what I need to do is for each blob in blobs, we need to have a file variable, and that'll be equal to blob.name. So now if I write host file, check this out. I got a list of the files that are stored up there, perfectly matching this. Now I have something I can download. So let's get rid of the write host, and we'll put our command in there to store everything down. So let's go build this so far and what we have. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're already connecting to our account. So we're going to call blobs. We're going to set that variable. Blobs equals get az storage blob container context for each blob in blobs. We are going to say file equals blob.name. And then what do we do? How do we get all this? Well, we're going to use the get az storage blob content. We need a name for the blob. Oh, what is it doing? Blob is going to be file. Container is going to be container. Context is going to be context. And we need an output, a destination. Well, that's our local path. And then we'll do a nice write host file downloaded from blob storage to local path. So what does that look like? Well, let's see here. Let's go back over. Now let's just give that a shot. Ha, there's no local path here. I'm like, what? There we go. Okay, so you can see it wrote out everything we wanted. And if I go there, let's go to see program data Intune migration. There's all the files I need. And this is without me copying them locally over. So it's a really powerful thing right here that we have that. So now we just got to go bring that back to the main solution. If you haven't worked with blob storage before, it's a great thing because it's definitely unstructured data, but it's a quick way to keep things accessible in a secure way. Whether it's tenant migration or any work with Intune and device management, we just need to grab files. It's friendly with PowerShell. It's relatively quick depending on what you're keeping there. So this is a great example of how we can use this to save ourselves time later. We're going to add a lot more to the blob storage. We're going to add the pieces for toast there. We're going to add the ppkg provisioning package file as we go along. So next up, we're going to finish our start migrate PS1 script that we're working on here. I know we have to finish it. That should just be one more shot. And then we'll keep going into our post migration tasks. Later.
1, 2,